Hey everyone, it's Legend. Just wanted to do a quick update on our stocks that we're watching on YouTube here. We were able to set stops on a couple of these, and so we are trying to lock in some profits. So stick around and see which ones we've got stops on now and which ones that are moving up and sideways or down, and why I have conviction on a lot of these. So let's start off with LLY. On LLY, we have been trading down to sideways on this one. And a lot of times when you're looking at it, you're thinking, should I go ahead and sell out of this or get out of it, cut my losses? And that is an option, but I have to always go back and look, and I'll look back on this 1 year chart right here, and you can see on the 1 year chart, it's a steady upward movement from left to right. We have had this drop down below this 200 MA, and that is where we're at right now. But then look at the 5 year chart, and we are just again up and to the right. So long term, this is one that's going up and to the right. So that is why I feel okay with holding this one, even though it is below that 200 MA. So I'm looking for this one to come back up over time, and hopefully we are getting some movement upward and we can move this one on up. KO. So on KO here, we do see that we have an ex-dividend date here of November 29th. So there's going to be an ex-dividend date on the 29th. So if I still have my shares by the 29th, then I will also receive a dividend on KO. We'll see if I'm still holding the shares or is it going to move on up, and I'm going to set my stop. With my average right now, I am not setting a stop because it's just too close to this price. So we'll just sit and wait. I'd like for this to move on up a bit more, and after hours it did. So we'll see if it continues to move up. Then I can set my stop just above my cost and protect myself on the downside of that one. ABBV. So ABBV, I am setting my stop. We're normally setting it at the MA5, but since my cost is at 170.75, I'm setting my stop at 171.50. So I am giving myself plenty of room for this candle to move around a little bit. Wants to continue to move up, that would be great. It's trying to get it back above that MA200, which is a bullish movement. So I have high hopes for this one. AVGO. So AVGO, we are still trading a little bit sideways. It is seeming to want to bottom out here. It's right there at that MA5. I'm waiting for this one to start getting a little momentum coming up. As you can see, the MACD here is leveled out. Looks like maybe the sellers are starting to get exhausted. We'll see if we can start getting this to shorten and then eventually go green. We can see on the RSI2, we are getting a little bit up, and the RSI 14 here, which is a 14-day moving average, this blue one, we're at a 40, so it's not oversold or anything like that. It's pretty mid. So we'll see if we can get this one here to start going back up and moving on up, and we'll be able to lock in some profits. TSM. On TSM, I am setting my stop on this one as well. My average on this one is 187.25, so I am going to set my stop at the MA5 a couple days before, and I'm setting it at 188. So it's just above my cost, and for the day candle on Friday, the low was 189.43. So I feel okay about setting a 188. That way I am not putting my stop within the length of that candle. And it did seem to close just ever so slightly above the MA5. So I'm going to go ahead and set my stop right there at the 188. That's that purple line that I've added. VOO. On VOO, we are moving on up on this one as well. I have my average at 540.20, so I am setting my stop right here at the MA5, and that being at the 542.09 right here, 1 day before this last candle. which did close up above that MA5. Right here's the green line is the MA5. It did close above it, did not run through the MA5, so I'm taking this one and going ahead and setting a stop right there at that purple line, which is at the tip of the MA5 of 542.09. So I am locking in some profits, not saying that I'm selling it, but I'm locking in profits just in case it does come back down. But if it doesn't and it just keeps on riding, then we can again start riding that MA5 right on up and keep putting that stop loss in there, so that way if it does turn around, we don't lose everything that we gain. PANW. PANW, we had this big green candle, but as you can see, we had that long wick on the top and we had a long wick on the bottom. So a little bit of indecision there in the market for PANW, and looks like on Friday it had a red day, so it looks like the sellers kind of won out on that one. So it did come down and it did hit that MA20, which is this blue line, and it seems to want to be setting on it. We'll see if we can get a pop off of that and move on up. It may use this MA20 as a point of support, and that would be great. That would give it a little movement, and if it can bounce off of that MA20 and move on up, we'll be able to set our stop on this one as well. But for now, it is still running through that MA5, so I am not setting a stop on this one. NVDA. So NVDA, we had a little bit of a red day. We had, again, that Thursday must have been pretty rough in the market, because we had the long wick on the top and we have a long wick on the bottom, which means there's a lot of indecision in the market. Doesn't know if it wants to be bullish or bearish, so it was teetering back and forth that day. And again, looks like Friday it was a red day for Nvidia. It fell down a little bit, but look at that MA20. It's right there on that MA20 again. So I'm hoping that it can use that as a support and move on up, but we'll see. And if not, I'm looking at this RSI2 down here, and if you see, it is getting close to that 10. And if it does drop below that 10 or gets really close to that 10, I'm probably going to go ahead and purchase some more of Nvidia. So Nvidia on their earnings was great, but the market hit them on one or two little items, so that caused it to go down. So I think that's going to be very short-lived, and I think this one here is going to turn around and it's going to take back off. That's my opinion, and that's why I'm hoping that we get a little bit more red day on Monday for Nvidia, and I'll be buying some more shares of Nvidia in hopes that it's going to run it up. That would help me dollar cost average in. AMZN. So on AMZN, they went down a little bit here, and if you can see, it did drop below that RSI2, and I did purchase some more shares on Friday. I got 3 more shares at 197.35 average, so I'm dollar cost averaging in on this one, knowing that Amazon is a banger of a company, so I am not worried long term with them. I will be patient and ride this one once it levels off and takes back off. Now the MACD here is dropping, so I think we probably will get another red day tomorrow until it starts leveling off, and then we start getting some more green in the MACD here. The RSI2, I think, will probably be down below that 10 again, and like I said, that's just going to offer me a chance to buy more shares. So I'm just going to slide right over to my stock tracker sheet, and we'll take a look at that and see where I'm at. So here we are on my YouTube stock tracker sheet, and this here is what I've been using to capture all of my shares that I've purchased. It calculates my average of each position, and I'm able to show my stop prices on each of the plays that I'm in. But before we get started, take a moment to hit that like button and subscribe so we can get this out to other people. So let's start off with LLY, 16 shares, 812.09 is my average. We're down about 7% on this one. KO, 88 shares, 63.52. We're up 0.5% 1% on this one. ABBV, we got 24 shares at 170.75. We're up 3.6% on this one, and I've set my stop at 171.50. So we are above our calculated average and below the current price. So we will continue to ride this one up, and hopefully we can continue to move the stop price right on up and increase our gains. AVGO, we got 20 shares at 167.31. We're down 1.8% on that one. TSM, we have 4 shares at 187.25. We're up 1.5%. I've decided to go ahead and place a stop on this one at 188, current price being 190.08. So we are kind of close on this one. We could get stopped out, but I'm going to go ahead and just put a protection on this one just in case. VOO, 4 shares. We have a calculated price of 540.20. We are up 1.3% on this one, and I've decided to place a stop at 542.09. So we got a little bit of room to move from the current stock price, and so we will lock in some potential profits here. PANW, 2 shares at 386.20. No stop. We're down about 0.75%. NVDA, 4 shares, 140.49. We're up about 1%. I'm not setting a stop on this one yet because it is running through my calculated average between the low and high for the day. So I'd like for this one to move on up a little bit before we do that. AMZN, 9 shares at 199 even. We are down just under 1% on that one. That one here as well. We're waiting on this one to settle down and move on up, but it may move down a little bit and give us another opportunity to buy some more shares. So I'm just going to go ahead and wrap it up right there. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And as always, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence before you get into any stock plays. And until next time, legend out.